Prabhuji is joining in few minutes. We have just done a setup. He will join in a few minutes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Chakravarti Prabhuji. Prabhuji to enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, 1st chapter, 36 words on words. First, I would like to hand over call to Pravin Govind Prabhuji for reading brief introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Pravin Govind Prabhuji, please take our call.
Hare Krishna, my humble obeisances to all the devotees on the call. A brief introduction for His Grace Chakravarti Prabhu. He came in contact with ISKCON in the year 2005. He has done his MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, one of the top business schools in India, in 2008. Subsequently, he moved as a human resource manager with Wipro Technologies. Since the time, Prabhuji has been in touch with spiritual wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. His Grace Chakravarti Prabhu has been using his skills to inspire and teach people on how to live a happy life. Prabhuji decided to dedicate his life in serving humanity by sharing teachings of Bhagavad Gita under the ISKCON, International Soul of Krishna Consciousness. And thus, in 2011, he became a full-time monk and a spiritual coach. He discourses on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita in English, Hindi, and Sindhi, and enlightening people across India and many parts of the world, including USA, China, Dubai, and other countries. He conducts various motivational seminars in prestigious universities like IIT and NITs. Apart from preaching activities, Chakravarti Prabhu is rendering many essential services like leading ISKCON India Deaf Preaching Secretary, ISKCON India Youth Council. He has been serving in ISKCON Juhu as Chairman Brahmachari Council, HR Director, Temple Council Committee Member, and other leadership roles in ISKCON. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for
please take over the call. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, are you there on the call?
I think they are setting the camera or something like that.
Chakravarti Prabhuji?
Mataji, I think they need another 2 minutes, I think, Mataji, like couple of minutes, because Prabhu said that they are setting the camera.
Yeah. We can chant.
Yes, Mataji. And enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, now I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, 1 second, Mataji. Let me see.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Actually, my technical team is missing today. So, I'm not a technical person. Can you hear me? I don't know whether you can see me.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Yes,
we can able to hear you.
Prabhuji.
Okay. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5. Prabhu, you can leave, Prabhu. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, The Activities of Maharaj Priyavrat, Text 36. Sa evam aparimita bala parakrama ekadatu devarshi. Okay, so this is not in the verse, so I'll just read. Sa evam aparimita bala parakrama ekadatu devarshi charananushayana. patita guna visarga samsargena nirvitram ivatmanam manyamana atmanirveda idam aha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. While enjoying these material opulences with full strength and influence, Maharaj Priyavrat once began to consider that although he had fully surrendered to great Saint Narada and was actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, he had somehow become again entangled in the material activities. Thus his mind now became restless and began to speak in the spirit of renunciation. In Srimad Bhagavatam, purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17 it is said, Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakpo athapate tato yati yatra kvava bhadram abodhamushyakim ko varthapto bhajatam swadharmatah. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, thus does not gain anything. If somehow or other If one somehow or the other comes to the shelter of great Vaishnava, takes to Krishna consciousness because of sentiment or realization, but in course of time falls down because of immature understanding, he is not actually fallen, for his having engaged in Krishna consciousness is a permanent asset. If one falls down, therefore, his progress an opportune moment. Although Priyavrat Maharaj was serving according to the instructions of Narad Muni, meant for going back home, back to Godhead, he returned to the material affairs at the request of his father. In due course of time, however, his consciousness for serving Krishna reawakened by the grace of his spiritual master, Narada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 6.41, Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Vijayate. One who falls down from the process of bhakti yoga is again offered the opulence of the demigods, and after enjoying such material opulence, he is given a chance to take birth in a noble family of pure Brahmana, or in a rich family to be given the chance to revive his Krishna consciousness. This actually happened in the life of Priyavrata. He is a most glorious example of this truth. In due course of time, he no longer wanted to enjoy his material opulences and his wife, kingdom, and sons. Instead, he wanted to renounce them all. Therefore, after having described the material opulences of Maharaj Priyavrata, Shukadev Goswami in this verse describes his tendency for renunciation. The words Devarshi Charananushayana indicates that Maharaj Priyavrata, having fully surrendered to the great sage Devarshi Narada, was strictly following all the devotional processes and regulative principles under his direction. In regard to strictly following the regulative principles, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Dandvat pranamastan anupatitah. By immediately offering obeisances, Dandvat, unto the spiritual master and by strictly following his directions, the student becomes advanced. Maharaj Priyavrat was doing all these things regularly. As long as one is in the material world, he has to be under the influence of modes of material nature, guna visarga. It is not that Maharaj Priyavrat was free from material influence because he possessed all material opulences. In this material world, both the very poor man and the very rich man are under material influences. For both wealth and poverty are creations of modes of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha. According to the modes of material nature we acquire, the material nature gives us facility for material enjoyment. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakha Vitamsa Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyanta Deshatari Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So very interesting pastimes. This Priyavrat Maharaj, where we see how his life takes turns. He renounced everything, and his brother Uttanapad was taking care of the business, the family business. After Maharaj Uttanapad left, Swayambhu Manu was to take. But then Swayambhu Manu said, Are Baba, I am the father, you are son, you have renounced already and become a brahmachari. What will happen to this kingdom? Who will take care? I want to renounce. So this is a good, situation where son and father both are actually arguing that I will renounce. I will renounce. We don't see much in this world like this. So Swayambhu Manu says, I will renounce. You take care. And Priyavrat Maharaj says, No, I've already renounced. I'm not coming back. So then Swayambhu Manu insists, and Narad Muni comes. Narad Muni tells Swayambhu Manu, why you are, entangling your son. He was already given up. Let him just be like this. He's already given up the worldly kingdom. I mean, we cannot even perceive or even conceive mentally how big the kingdom of Swayambhuva Manu is, which he and his son, young son, they both are ready to renounce. And more important is how important is the duty. They want to renounce, but they don't want the world to be without the king. It will be ruined. So then he says, Narada Muni says, let him be. Swayambhuva Manu was persistent. He said, no, he has to take, I will renounce. So Swayambhuva Manu calls his father. Priyavrat Maharaj calls his guru, Narada Muni, to convince his father. It happens in ISKCON also. But then Swayambhuva Manu calls his own father, who is actually father of Narada also, Brahma. And then Brahma comes. And Brahma says to Priyavrat, that you are grown up, you have performed sufficient austerities. And so now you must take care of the kingdom, take care of the duties of kingdom, so that your father can renounce and practice austerities and become more absorbed in the bhajan. So you take care of the responsibility. Perfect. Narada Muni cannot say anything. Brahma has come. So then Priyavrat Maharaj again enters. Not again, he enters Grihastha. Then he marries, and eventually you all saw how he became what he was fearful. He became entangled. But he is not entangled like we are entangled in the material. This is different. It's very superficial entanglement. Ours is deep rooted. So then Priyavaran Maharaj starts ruling all the 7 islands. He becomes so powerful that eventually he just gets absorbed in the worldly duties. But what we see today, yet another turn in his life, in today's verse. Because he had practiced austerities, he had practiced renunciation, that is helping him to again become renounced. And that is why the Varna ashram is designed in a way that before you enter Grihastha ashram, you must practice austerities and penances. Whether you are a king, whether you are Brahmana, anyone. And that's why Daksha, Prajapati Daksha, he sent 10,000 sons to forest. They all accept sannyas and go, never to return back, never to return, to his family, to their family. So then he is a little disappointed with Narada. Okay. Then he gives birth to, he produced, he had one more batch of sons, 1,000 sons. And again Narada Muni preaches. So it's not that my 10,000 sons, they went to practice austerities and penances, and now they took sannyas and went. So, okay, now I will not send this 1,000 sons, this batch, to the forest. What if they also go? I will not send them. It was not like that. He knew the duties. He knew, even though Daksha himself is attached, he wanted his sons to become attached, but he knew that without austerities, without penances, they will not be able to handle this. It's a miserable world here. So much of pressure, a financial pressure, emotional pressure, intellectual pressure. What is intellectual pressure? Decision making. How will they take decisions? As a king, he has to take decisions. What is right, what is wrong? So he needs to study Dharma. Just by studying Dharma, you do not become dharmic. You have to practice, you have to apply. And to apply the decisions of, to apply the codes of Dharma, you need sufficient purity in your heart. Otherwise, even though we know what is wrong and what is right, we still take wrong decisions. Why? Because we lack that spiritual strength. The knowledge only tells you how to discriminate what is wrong, what is right. But knowledge will not be sufficient to help us to take the right decisions at the right moment. That will come when we have sufficient, not just spiritual strength, but sufficient spiritual strength. That's required. So that is what we see. And Priyavrata Maharaj, he had sufficient spiritual strength. He had practiced a lot of austerities and penances. And now he must take the responsibility. The training time is over. Now what we see today, very unfortunate things going on in this world. Nobody, neither mother nor father, nor their elderly family members, nor teachers, nor the government, nobody is talking about austerities. Nobody. And that is why people in this world lack knowledge and completely lack spiritual strength. No austerity, no strength. There is no tapobal. And that is why earlier, all these kings, even though they have multiple wives, they were able to manage. Yeah, you can imagine the amount of emotional pressure it would build. Look at the situation of Dashrath Maharaj. That weakness was there, but then he stood for Dharma finally. Even though he left his body, but he stood for Dharma. So, Dharma will test us with our near and dear ones. Look at Arjuna, how Dharma tested him. He had to kill his most dear grandfather, Bhishma. Out of all 105 grandchildren, Arjuna was dearmost to Bhishma, and Bhishma was dearmost to Arjuna. But Dharma is above all this. And every one of us will be tested. So we have to practice that. And we have to have that spiritual strength so that we do not succumb to these emotional pressures and stand, as they say, rock solid to protect Dharma. And Dharma will protect us. Most of the population, most of the people in the world, all of us, we are very weak spiritually. And that's why we give in or we succumb to emotions. It is not that, a person may say, oh, because I love my wife, I love my husband, I love my parents, I love my kids. No. It has nothing to do with others. It is you who are weak-hearted. Hridaya Daurbalyam. Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Klebhyam Masmagamapartha. From where this, O Arjuna, you have brought the weakness of your heart. He says, Klebhyam Masmagamapartha. It's like an important. You do not have spine. It is spineless. In Kali Yuga, practically all of us are spineless. Only, some handful of devotees who have given their life serving Krishna by practical devotional service, by chanting, by preaching, can withstand these emotional pressures. Otherwise, nobody. So that is a very high level of commitment required. So what to do? We don't have. What should we do? Should we commit suicide? Should we become depressed and leave everything? What should we do? And how others should see, and how we should see others. It's a very important principle here is being taught. It is said in jackfruit, Lord Jagannath's favorite jackfruit. So when you cut the jackfruit, so the hair, too small, hairy substance on the skin of the jackfruit actually creates itching on your hand. It remains there for a few days. Doesn't go so easily. So how do you cut the jackfruit? Okay, now people may say, oh, wear the gloves. Okay, there is one thing, wear gloves. Earlier, how used to do is people. It's not that these villagers or these people who were in Vedic culture were less intelligent. No, they're better equipped than us. They used to use this primitive method, but the primitive methods are not, less intelligent. Rather, they were more intelligent. I'll tell you one thing, which I do. You know this chicken pox, smallpox, chicken pox. They say once in a life, once in a life, you have it. You will not, like I had it in my childhood. Now it will not come. So recently, one of our brahmachari, he had this smallpox. I don't know whether it was smallpox or chickenpox. If you go and take treatment, allopathy treatment, it takes days and days and days. And wherever these, what do you call this? Sprouting all over your body and head also, and they just fell off. Wherever they fell, if anyone touches them, he will also be infected. And that's why he has to be kept in isolation. How many days you will keep him in isolation? One of the devotees I saw, the 15 days. I said, why are you suffering so much? Come, I'll treat you. So there is some, home treatment. It does not take more than 30 seconds. And after that, he can mingle with anyone and everyone. Gradually, all these sprouts, coming from the body, that will gradually dry. But now, that chickenpox and smallpox is no more contamination. It cannot contaminate others. It's a 30 seconds treatment. So, these were, in India, they say, Dadi ke nuske. Small things, very intelligent. People were very intelligent. So what they will do, they will apply a lot of mustard oil. Mustard oil is thick. The consistency is very thick. So they'll apply a lot of mustard oil on their hands and till the elbow. If not full arm, at least till the elbow. And they'll cut it. And then what happens? All the hair, that hairy substance will come and stick on their hands. And now jackfruit is cut. So what they do? Now they go and wash the hand with the soap. So the oil goes off and takes that itchy substance from the jackfruit away with it. It did not touch your skin. That's how people in village used to do. So that example is given in this context, and this is mainly for men. For women, something different. Why? Because for women, there is no concept of renunciation. I'm not to be blamed for telling you all this. It's Krishna who was created. And some time back, I think we had already discussed. So there's no need of getting into argument. Is how what scripture say. I'm just keeping plain in front of you. Girls should be taught attachment, and boys should be trained in detachment. Girls should become more attached to families because that is their life. And boys should be trained, so girls should be trained in attachment and chastity. Boys should be trained in detachment and celibacy. He should be trained in detachment. That's why boys are sent to Gurukul. It's not that once he has gone to Gurukul, so he'll become a brahmachari. He is a brahmachari. A boy is born brahmachari. Anyone who takes birth in a male body is a brahmachari. Now, whether he remains, he takes sannyas, or he enters grahastha ashram, doesn't matter because he's trained. He has applied oil. So then, he said at the age of 5, he will go to Gurukul. And whether he is a son of a king or anyone, he will do all these menial services for Guru. And now he is becoming detached. Why? Yes, he cannot see his mother. There were no video calls, there was no Zoom, there was no Skype or Facebook. That every day, Guruji or Guruji's wife, Guru Ma has to sit and dial every mother. Okay, take darshan of your son, talk to your son. If that was the culture, Gurukul would have failed miserably. The purpose of Gurukul is detachment. And that's why back at home, women will have more children. It's all science. It's designed by Krishna. It cannot have any fault. So Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam, a woman generally likes to have at least half a dozen of kids. I don't know, but now I have seen all, you would have seen grandfather and grandmother. My grandfather had 12 kids, 4 daughters, 8 sons. So they used to have, so that one goes Gurukul, then other goes, and they keep on having. And by the time husband, wife, there are daughters who will take care, and husband, wife becomes old. They are naturally detached. By that time, maybe most of the time, the son comes back, he becomes an householder, he takes care of the parents. Family goes on. So that there is no detachment, which is, separation, which is painful. And this fellow goes, and he is now away from parents. He doesn't come back home. Then he takes menial services. He is purified. He chants, Vedic hymns. He chants mantras. He is becoming more and more trained in knowledge. What is right, what is wrong. And by chanting of these mantras, he becomes spiritually powerful. And gradually, at the age of 25, he decides. Guru gives him freedom. You want to take sannyas? You want to go back and, get married? That's how the system was. The Priyavat Maharaj was actually, he renounced. But on the order of Lord Brahma, he had to come back. Now, when he has to come back, he has to be responsible. He cannot say, "Oh, Brahma has sent me. I should not. I will not get entangled." No, you have to take your responsibility. But when a person who is trained for 20 years in Gurukul and then he takes up Grihastha ashram, it's glorious. He's not affected. Yeah, definitely there is a difference if that person takes renounce order or takes Grihastha ashram. There is a difference. But because his training, his early, youth training is in the ashram, as a monk, as a renunciate. So the family life, he easily gets detached. The attachment is not very deep with his wife, with his kids, or with his kingdom, because he has seen that simple life and the bliss, the joy of simple life. So he doesn't get entangled. That's what is happening with Priyavrata Maharaj. He has already tasted the bliss of doing bhajan, the bliss of renunciation. Actually, people think renunciation is painful, but renunciation is blissful, whether for a man or for a woman. Attachment is painful. Why? The more you become attached to someone or something, whether some living being or some object, the more you will inflict pain upon yourself when there will be separation. And this material world for sure will not allow you to stay with your loving objects or living beings whom you love together with you. It will separate you, and that will be very, very painful because you have become attached to it. But the training in the Vedic culture was such that you have tasted the nectar of detachment. So now, after certain age, you again are ready for detachment. And that's what's happening to Priyavrata Maharaj. He's not affected. So that's one aspect. But Prabhupada, he covers many things in the purport. Very interesting. I mean, it will not be a justification to cover this topic in just 1 hour, but what to do? We don't have a time limit. Because now the actual thing, this is what the theory was, but how actually happens for a spiritual personality. And Prabhupada quotes this verse from Narada. Narada Muni teaching to Vyasadeva. I'll read this translation, what Narada Muni is telling. One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometime fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna is asking to Krishna, what happens, my Lord, to an unsuccessful yogi? Krishna becomes very compassionate. You see the words, the selection of words of Krishna. Uses the word tata. Okay. Luckily, I have Bhagavad Gita here. It's very interesting what he So Krishna, Arjuna is asking, Ayati, Arjuna vacha, Ayati Shraddhaya Peto, Yoga Chalati Manasa, Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim, Kam Gachati Krishna Gachati. Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. Hey Krishna, what will be the Gati? What will be the destination of Ayatihi? Yati means Siddha, perfect. Ayati means imperfect. That means unsuccessful yogi. Now what Krishna says? These three words Arjuna speaks 37, 38, 39, and Krishna speaks in 48th verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Parthanaiveha namutra vinashas tasya vidyate nahi kalyana kaschid durgatim tat gachati. This word tat, Dhruv Maharaj, when he was wicked, he became very angry, and Swayambhu Manu comes. You saw in the fourth canto. Swayambhu Manu comes. He uses the word tata. This is used with affection. A lot of affection is there in your heart than you were. It's like in Hindi we say, beta. That's how tata. Here, Prabhupada says, my friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by it. We must understand this very important concept. And it is not here. Whenever Krishna talks about these kind of concepts, he becomes emotional. This is in the 6th chapter. Similar topic again will come in 9th chapter, where he says, Krishna is explaining, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavya samavyagvavastito hi saha. Sadhureva samantavya. Even a person who is engaged in devotional service, if somehow or the other he meets accident, he falls down. Sadhur eva samantavya. I consider him as only a sadhu. He is still a sadhu, rather only sadhu. Sadhur eva. Krishna is forcing sadhur eva. But then someone says, my dear Lord, but he left the process. There's met accident. And then says, Shipram bhavati dharmatma. Shipram bhavati dharmatma. Oh Arjuna, Shipram means very soon he'll become again a dharma. Kantya pratijani name bhaktya pranashyati. My devotee never falls down, never meets destruction. See the power of devotional service. So what we discussed in last 30 minutes, that was in general. But Priyavrata Maharaj is not a general human being. He's not just some ordinary human being. He's a devotee. So now we come, Prabhupada is bringing in the concept of devotion, Krishna consciousness. For an ordinary soul, he goes to Gurukul, he becomes Grasta, and then whatever happens is different. The devotee is different. So practically in the Vedic times, everyone was a devotee. Everyone was practicing Krishna. What we are struggling to practice, it was a natural, culture of Vedic times. So that's what Prabhupada says. So never take the examples like Priyavrat Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, all will come in this. Priyavrat Maharaj, and then fifth chapter of this fifth canto is teachings of Rishabhadev, and next is Bharat Maharaj. He got attracted with the baby deer. But Prabhupada says, he cautions, don't consider Bharat Maharaj as fallen down. Shipram bhavati dharmatma. And he became deer and immediately became Jada Bharat. He was at the level of Bhava. Yes, Priyavrat Maharaj, Prabhupada is right, he's not a pure devotee. It's okay. We are not pure devotees. Now, how we have to see this? We have to see When any person takes up to Krishna consciousness, somehow or the other, whether he's a brahmachari, whether he's a sannyasi, he's a grahastha, he's a vanaprastha, somehow or the other, he leaves the practice completely. It happens. It's an accident. Rather than using the word fall down, it's an accident. It happens. Okay. So what? This verse is saying. Krishna is saying, Tatam, he says, Tata, na durgatim. He will never meet durgati. His destination will always be good. He will never meet destruction. Durgati is destruction. He will never meet destruction. So any devotee in any ashram, if he's chanting 16 rounds, whether he's initiated, not initiated, he's chanting 16 rounds, following principles, but then he goes away. We all have seen. We will see in future because Maya is very, very powerful. It's not fall down. We should not ridicule a person who is left. They come back. They come back. We have seen many Prabhupada disciples coming back. So recently, rather, there was one Prabhupada disciple in 1971. He got connected to ISKCON Juhu. Prabhupada initiated him. And then gradually, 85, he left this place. And he started traveling and finally he came in association with Mayavadis. For years, last week he came. It's very, apparently very, not so good situation health-wise. They become old, mind is disturbed because of wrong association. But he remembers everything about Prabhupada. He remembers everything about Juhu. Somehow, one very senior devotee, he recognized him. And this Prabhupada disciple recognized. Otherwise, we wouldn't have recognized also. Immediately I was called. I said, take him to give him good clothes, food, everything. And then we took him to the hospital. He's in the hospital taking treatment. Very expensive treatment because his one of this nerve in the leg is completely damaged. He recently 2 months back he said that he got operated because of this cataract. He's remembering Prabhupada, he's remembering Krishna, he's crying out. Whatever, sometimes we have this karma. Sometimes the force of karma is so powerful that just Maya washes you. He is now every Prabhupada disciple. He came in Krishna consciousness 71, 21, 50 years. And I assume that when he would have come, he would be like 18, 20 at least. So 70 years. But his memory is so sharp. He knows everything what happened in 14 years in Juhu. He's getting treatment. The treatment is expensive. So how Krishna arranged him to come to this temple, the same temple. And the temple and the devotees who could afford the treatment. In my faith, on this verse, Bhagavad Gita and this Krishna consciousness become more intense, become strong. Yes, he left for almost 35, 36 years. He was away. He was chanting. He said he was chanting. But still, because of association of these Mayavadis staying in Haridwar, Rishikesh, he got disturbed. He has so many apparent diseases in the body. But he remembers Prabhupada. He's crying for Prabhupada. He knows Krishna. He's chanting Mahamantra. So afternoon he came and he said, And we gave him, he said, I will not take bath, I just want to take little prasad, little. I said, why, Prabhu, you take more? You're hungry. He said, no, if I take more, I have to pass stool. And I can't stand. My legs are damaged. It happened just 10 days back. So I don't want to go to bathroom, so I'll not eat only. Night 11 o'clock, he called me. He was like, calling out loudly. And he's on third floor. I was on the fifth floor, and I could hear someone is calling very loudly. I went, what happened? He said, I don't have Kantimala. What if I die tonight? I do not have Kantimala. Somehow, Krishna's some arrangement, I got few Kantimalas from Vrindavan, neck beads. And one of the neck beads I have taken out for someone. And it was with me, besides my pillow on my bed. It's a new neck bead. Immediately I took night 11 o'clock and gave him neck beads. He said, what if I die? I don't have neck beads. You know what Prabhupada said? He started. And then for everything he would quote Prabhupada. Then in Chaitanya Charitamrita that verse comes. That disciple is dhanya, fortunate, who never leaves the master. That master is fortunate, never leaves. Even if a disciple leaves the master, master brings him back. And I can see how Prabhupada brought him back. How Radha Rasmeri brought him back to Juhu, way from Himalayan mountains. Taking treatment now in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. So nobody who has served Krishna even once in their life will meet destruction. Nobody. So alpam apyadhat dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. So alpam. Alpa means little. So alpam. Very little bhakti. This is the nature of Krishna. This is the nature of the Krishna consciousness. We should never ridicule a person. He may be a sannyasi who has left. He may be for brahmachari, so there's absolutely no problem. We become sometimes people, oh, brahmachari left, he fell down. No, once Prabhupada, one devotee asked Prabhupada, the brahmachari fell down. Prabhupada said, brahmachari, grahastha, vanapra, sannyas. Brahmachari is at the lowermost. He is like compared to the legs. He's already down. How can he fall down? Rather, from brahmachari to grahastha, I'm not inspiring people to take, but from brahmachari to grahastha, I'm saying this is promotion, Prabhupada said. But yes, Prabhupada said, if you can just go on, that's better. So every one of us, I was reading once Ajamil section to my spiritual master. Every day morning till today, as well as Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he does his personal God Neta worship and so many shilas, more than 500 shilas, and Ugra Narsingha, DT, and Prabhupada DT, God Neta DT, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. Altar is full. Once one devotee asked, Maharaj, how do you carry so many deities with you every time you travel anywhere? Maharaj said, I don't carry them. They carry me. Supreme Lord carries us. We cannot carry Supreme Lord. So then every day morning, today also I went and one devotee was reading. Every day morning he worships his God Nitaya. And he hears either proper lecture or someone reads for him. So I was reading almost like 10 years back. I was reading for him Ajamil section, and it was written there somehow. Sometimes devotee, Ajamil, how he fell down, so-called fall down. I asked Maharaj, why it happened that sometimes devotees fall down? He said, not sometimes, every time. So all of us, whether brahmachari, whether grahastha, we have these experiences where we are not up to the mark. We should not take it for granted, this Krishna consciousness. That will, Krishna will protect because you have somehow chanted, you somehow come in association with devotees, you have You have paid obeisances to the deities. You have done something for Prabhupada. You have distributed at least one book in your life. You have at least told someone, even one person in your life, if you say, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, please chant Hare Krishna, you are already in the books of Krishna. You have taken prasadam, honored Mahaprasadam, offered water to Tulsi, so many things. But we should not take devotional service for granted. Because if we commit offenses, then what happens? We unnecessarily entangle ourselves. We delay the process of our liberation. It's not that Krishna wants, he can actually push us to hellish planets. But why we want to give trouble to Krishna? But it happens, all of us face that situation. And that is where we need to take shelter of the lotus feet of spiritual master and Krishna very strongly. If somehow Ajamil, he did all what he's not supposed to do, but Krishna brought him back. But that's not that we also become like that. Rather, we should think that so many lifetimes I have wasted. So this lifetime, let me do in whatever ashram I am. Whenever I came to Krishna consciousness, let me intensify my bhajan. And we should not too much worry. What if I fall down? What if I meet accident? What if I leave moment? Too much of worry is not good. We should be cautious. We should not worry too much. And definitely when we see other person, we should not get bewildered. It's part of life. Even the great sages, Saptarishi, Vishwamitra Muni is one of the Saptarishis. You can see up in the sky and you will see Saptarishi Mandala, 7 stars revolving around Dhruva planet, circumambulating Dhruva, which is a spiritual planet. So they're not ordinary souls. But we see the story of Vishwamitra. We know what happened with many. So every person, even great souls, in their life this happens. You know what is glorious about devotional service? Even if someone has completely given up devotional service, but because he has practiced, Krishna keeps finding different ways and means, and Krishna keeps offering through different ways and means him a pedestal to again climb and come back. Every time. For Ajamil, how much time it took? He was 25 when he brought that prostitute home. He was 88 when Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas came. So 63 years. In the 63 years also how Krishna arranged. He was 83-year-old when he became father. Can you imagine? At the age of 83, he's becoming father. And because of Krishna's mercy, because of his previous devotional service, Krishna somehow is trying to arrange. Then finally some sadhus come to his house. Ajamil was not there, and they saw this prostitute, his wife, carrying the newborn baby. And one of the sadhu, inspired by Krishna, he's asking, what is the name of this baby? And his mother says, no, we have not yet kept. We have not yet given him the name. So the sadhu says, give him the name Narayana. And she says, oh, very nice name. We'll give him name as Narayana. And when Ajamil comes back in the evening, sadhus have already gone. And he hears that sadhus came and gave this name, Narayana, to his son. He became so jubilant. And all the time kept chanting Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. See how Krishna arranges. The devotional service is so glorious. You go to any planetary system, take, most of you are in US, you go to NASA. You take whatever spaceship you want to take. You go to Brahmalok, you go to Patal. You will not find a process which is as glorious as bhakti. All other processes are just poisonous. They will only further entangle. Bhakti, even little bit of bhakti will take you out. So it is not that we're just talking karma kanda, renunciation, then attachment, detachment. No, it's a power of bhakti of Priyavrat. So even I know I've heard about one Mataji. She came in Krishna consciousness at the age of 60, somewhere in Europe. I don't know which country, France, Germany, whatever. She came in Krishna consciousness at the age of 60. She took initiation from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. She left body a few years back at the age of 80. 20 years she practiced. And it said that every day she would go out and distribute books. Every day. And on the last day, one devotee was telling, and there was Mataji there, she was taking care. And when the last moment came, this old Mataji, she was in pain. But then suddenly she was relieved of all the pain, and a beaming smile came on her face. And she said to the assistant who was assisting her, she said, Mother Yashoda has come to take me back. And she left. Okay, someone may say, oh, maybe she's just, she's just telling, who knows, Mother Yashoda will come. But the Mataji who was taking care of her, she saw that smile, that glow on her face at the age of 80. Painful situation. How can you smile? You go and you go to any hospital, see how people are dying. They don't smile. They can't, even if you tell them, they can't smile. It's not easy. It's only painful. The pain of body, there's a physical pain, there's a mental, emotional pain. Because we are dying. We don't know where we'll go. There is fear. But she smiles. I know another girl, Nandarani, 12 years old. Nobody at home. Security guard came to her house, murdered her. I don't think there is any sannyasi in ISKCON who didn't know her. All the list, Jayadvaita Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Loknath Maharaj, Navayogendra Maharaj, every sannyasi glorified her. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, she went back. She had already completed her devotional service, a little bit was remaining. She came at the age of 12, she went back. So this is the glory of devotional service. That if you practice little bit, Krishna will find. Not as Krishna's headache. But Krishna will find out ways and means to bring you back. And that is why Prabhupada, with so much of compassion in his heart, is requesting people, take up this Krishna consciousness. Please take up. Nityanand Prabhu, bottomless ocean of compassion. He's pleading, he's begging people. He's ready to be beaten up by Jagai Madhai, but still preaching to them. Chant the names of Lord Gaurahari. Can you imagine? Because they know what is bhakti, what is the power of bhakti. We don't know. They know. And this, such a special yuga this is. This Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is like a dark, if you take a black chart paper, black velvet paper, very dark, or you put the entire wall, covered with the black paper, completely jet black. That is Kali Yuga. No light, complete darkness. And once in one day of Brahma, Lord Gauranga appears. For 10,000 years, his movement will be there. And in that, imagine that black wall and put a little golden spot. That's all. We are so fortunate to take birth in Kali Yuga in Bharatvarsha. Bharatvarsha means entire world. In this Kali Yuga, by Chaitanya, and in this 10,000 years. And that too is what they say, icing on the cake. We got connected to Prabhupada. It's a great, great fortune which we have received. We should be cautious while practicing Krishna consciousness so that we don't leave. Rather, we should extend a helping hand to everyone. To devotees, we should help them. To non-devotees, we should help them. Try to bring as many as souls possible to Krishna consciousness. This year marks 125th appearance anniversary of His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Let us recommit ourselves and let us do something. Let us show our gratitude to Prabhupada by doing what his mission is. Becoming a better devotee, helping other devotees, and bringing in new people to our family. People are going every day to hell. If we will not give them bhakti, what is the hope for them? How many people are dying? In India now, there is no COVID. Gone. But people are dying. There was a bus accident, people died. There was a train accident, people died. There was this glacier accident happened in Uttarakhand. There was a fire in the factory. Some people are dying. So we see, I told you there are so many things to be spoken, to discuss. The words Devarshi Charanarnushayana indicates that Maharaj Priyavrat, having fully surrendered to the great sage Devarshi Narada, was strictly following all devotional processes and regulatory principles under his direction. In this regard, to strictly following the regulatory principles, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Dandavata Pranam Tan Anupatitah. By immediately offering obeisances unto the spiritual master and strictly following his directions, the student becomes advanced. Maharaj Priyavrat was doing all this regularly. So many things are there in this verse. So the glory of devotional service that I could get some idea and try to give whatever I have read or heard from other devotees. And so it's time, it's overtime. So any of you have any comment, any discussion, we can take.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Do you have time for questions, Prabhuji?
I have time. I have another class after 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. If anybody have any questions or realization, please go ahead, devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so very much for a very powerful class. It was inspiring in so many ways. I always find your classes inspiring. The question that I had was about something you mentioned at the beginning of the class about that girls should be trained in attachment. And so I was just wondering what that training would consist of. What would that look like? How do we train girls properly in attachment?
Okay, so the better word is dependence. Now, rather than, it's not attachment to material world, but being dependent. See what is happening nowadays. If you see, in the Vedic culture, girls or women are not given that kind of independence to just do whatever they want. Actually, nobody is given. Everyone is conditioned soul and everyone is controlled by moods. But men have freedom to go out, you know. Now, what is happening today? I don't need to tell you, you're staying in, you know, a place where, you know, okay, seeing girls and boys equally on every level, no, that's not correct. Spiritually, yes, but we are conditioned soul, we have a body. This body has been awarded. So girls are getting freedom. And what is happening? Because by nature, any living entity is given the body of a woman. That body itself is an emotional, that body has an emotional, you know, personality. And any living entity given a body of a male is a rational person. Now, when you deal with so many people out, so independence, when it is given, when girls are taught of being independent, what happens? They just go out, and what is happening in the world, we are witnessing that. So there is no question of being equal because they are not equal. So Prabhupada says a girl should depend on his father before marriage. After marriage, she depends on husband, and when she's grown up, at the old age, she depends on son. So the father, then the husband, then the son eventually takes care of the woman. So if they are trained to be dependent, it's easy for the father or husband or son to take care of them. If someone is independent, not listening to you, how will you take care of them? If you want to give protection to someone and that person is very rebellious, not ready to listen to you, how will you give that person protection? So they are trained to be dependent. Today, what is happening? Girls are going out, boys are becoming more attached to family life. It's all opposite. So, is that clear? I mean, a lot of discussion may be required, but I think this is sufficient. So is that clear, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, yes, it's clear, but my question was more about, how do you train a girl to be dependent? What does that look like? How do we do that?
The entire society has to be like that. Now, if we are training, today's modern education, which Prabhupada says is a slaughterhouse, what are we training? Why it is slaughterhouse? Because we're training them to everyone, whether a boy or a girl, we're training them that you can do, you can do, you can do. No, you cannot do anything. That's what Vedas say. Prakriti priyamani gunai karmani sarasya. Ahankara vimudatma karta hamiti mannate. Today's verse, Prabhupada is quoting in Bhagavatam. So first of all, girls are not sent out to studies. Is it possible? No. The first thing itself cannot do. Can you tell any of the girl in any of the country now? Not. I don't think even in African countries where girls should not go to school. Girls, they don't need education. They don't need. Even men don't need an education. Boys don't need education. All this mathematics and physics. I studied biology and physics and chemistry. What am I doing with that? Nothing. Prabhupada said, just learn language. You should know a little bit of mathematics, basic calculation, and then read and hear about scriptures. So now, how can girls not go out? They just do household duties. Today, just for the discussion, women were not supposed to take initiation, but Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gave, because he saw that men are also not of that caliber or character to protect women. But it's all controversy. Otherwise, it's like women don't need Brahman initiation. They're not given the thread. Women has no varna, no ashram. Her varna is decided by husband, father. If she is daughter of Brahmana, she is known as daughter of Brahmana. Then Brahmana's daughter may marry a Kshatriya king or Kshatriya husband. Like Shukracharya's daughter Devyani, she married Yayati, who was a Kshatriya. So now she is daughter of Brahmana and wife of Kshatriya. She doesn't have her independent varna. And only ashram allowed is Grahastha ashram and Vanaprastha. That's why we don't say which ashram for females. I don't know how. I cannot tell you how you bring in all those principles, but principles of dependence now should be taught to everyone. Rather, I'll tell you, it is so very easy for women to take shelter of Krishna, especially in Indian culture, because still in smaller towns and villages, that dependency is being trained. Now it's all going on. So when you are trained to be dependent, it's very easy to become dependent on Krishna. Queen Kunti, she was daughter of a king. She was wife of a king, mother of a king. Such glorious. But she is telling Krishna, let all my attachments to my paternal and my husband's family and my father's family, let all these attachments, just let me be dependent. It's very easy for women to take Krishna consciousness because they're trained in that way, that we are dependent. For a male has a false ego, very high. It's called male ego. Because he is trained to go and achieve. But then he uses his rational to understand the temporary nature of this material world. For women, it's just simple. Krishna, Supreme Lord, you just serve Krishna. Mother Devahoti, Kardam Muni, was engaged in practicing austerities and penances. He was doing his bhakti. Mother Devahoti, her job was to assist, to bring whatever paraphernalia is required for her, for his practice. That's all. She was not engaged in any practice. So she is told that you take care of husband, whatever he needs to practice Krishna consciousness, you just provide so that he can practice. And the wife will say, what will I get? I serve this man who's my husband with all faith, with all my humility, with all surrender. What will I get? You will get what your husband will get. Really? I don't have to practice anything. My husband practices and I'll get the same destination. Yes. If you are a chaste wife. But I don't know. Gone are those days. But at least we can teach about chastity, teach about how we need to teach, because otherwise we see a lot of divorces everywhere. Why? Even within devotees, a lot of divorces. Why there are divorces? Because training is not there. Training has to be given to both. It's not for one. It's for men also, for women also. They're given different training because they have different psychology. How practical is to be done, it has to be taken on an individual level, and then gradually entire society has to take it up. Kali Yuga is increasing. I know one family, both initiates, husband, wife, Brahmin initiates. They have a daughter, maybe 20, 22. And once this father was sharing with me, and father is telling daughter, can you get me a glass of water? You know what daughter said? That Papa, you didn't use the word please. So tell me, please give me a glass of water. Then I will bring for you. She is a devotee. Very soon to get married to another devotee. Entire family is devotee. But she's telling you should say please, request. Kalyuga. I don't know what to say. Why a father has to say please to his own daughter to get one glass of water? So this is influence of Western world. And you are staying in there. So you see how you have to. Is it okay? Because the discussion will otherwise.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, I am a Westerner. That's why I'm a devotee. Because I see what goes on. So thank you.
Great. Yes. And Prabhupada, he hit like there's a bullseye. He went to New York and preached. And so many girls and boys became devotees. In India, still today, it's difficult in that way. What Prabhupada did in America. And Prabhupada, seeing the situation, now Prabhupada treated differently the girls in America because he didn't want to disturb the system. But he didn't want the same thing in India. Like Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was especially pleased with three of them because they never wanted to enter Jagannath temple. They never requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They never wanted to enter. So Mahaprabhu says this is Vaishnava's ornament. This is Vaishnava ornament. What is Sadachar? Don't disturb the local system. If locals are not allowing you to go, don't go. So Prabhupada respected the local culture and then gradually trained people. So that's why how to train, it's very abrupt. I don't know how. Hopefully one day we will go in that direction and bring that glorious Vedic culture back. Any other comment or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please accept my Dhanvat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you so much for this class. And actually the previous classes where you were doing for deaf and dumb children's, like sign language classes. So like my sister is one such, and I shared those videos with her entire friend circle and her, and they were like quite benefited from that. So how I can get a regular feed of it, Prabhuji? Because recently I was seeing that there are no new videos I could find on YouTube for that.
Yeah. So then you can contact me directly on
Okay.
my WhatsApp number.
Okay.
Then we can discuss further.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. I will get the number from Mataji and then I will be in touch with
Is there? I'm there on the Bhakti Sangha group, WhatsApp group too.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question? Now we can stop here.
Thank you so
So
much.
is it Sunday morning or Monday morning? It's Sunday morning.
It's a
Sunday
Sunday
morning, Prabhuji. Thank you
Great.
so much. Very, very, instructive class for the parents, especially. And, we need to train our children. Thank you so much. Your classes are always inspiring. Thank you.
If no one have any further question, we can end the call here. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening class today. We are very grateful to you and we are looking forward to your association again in the future. Let's pay our obeisance to Prabhuji and all devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Chakravarti Prabhuji ki jai. And all assembled devotees ki jai.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Hari Bol.
Mataji, can you close? Vinita Gandharvika Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, yes, Mataji. Blessing, Mataji. My computer got this. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Dhanavad Pranam.